What's going on, guys? This is Javier again with another episode of the MA Biz U show. We got some new topics going on. We got some new stuff. So let's make sure this feed is running. Today's topic, today's show is going to be the 10 SEO do's and don'ts to help improve your website. And so first, I want to kind of make a few clarifications and things about SEO. Search engine optimization is what it stands for, if you guys aren't familiar with what SEO is. So with that said, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what that is that it's just I guess you can say an acronym for improving your website through search engines. And so search engines are going to be like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and there's other search engines, but those are like the three major ones. And in reality, the only one that really matters is Google. So if you're like, I'm number one on Yahoo, that's cool, but when was the last time you did a search on Yahoo? Okay, so what I want to do is talk about the value of SEO, and then the 10 do's and don'ts of SEO. So I've got 10 do's, I've got 10 don'ts. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I've got 5 do's and 5 don'ts. All right, so first of all, search engine optimization does carry a little value in the marketing world. And so I'm not going to say it's completely dead, but what I will say is that it is not what it was 10 years ago. I was able to build my business very, very well through just SEO. All right, so I hired it out. I just didn't have time to actually put it all into it, but I was also a big part of the development of doing some of the SEO. So let me make sure this is focused in. And so, with that said, SEO does play a huge role still, but it doesn't carry the weight that it used to. I believe we're now in an era where, I guess the best way to put it is, we're now in an era where pay-per-click, click campaigns, those sort of things are more dominant. But SEO plays a value because you got to have some organic, not organic reach, but you got to have some organic authority is probably the better way of putting it. And so what makes you good in the eyes of the search engines, let's just say Google, is your authority on the internet. The more authority your company carries, then the better you're going to be able to make your company stand apart from everybody else, the better that you will show up on the search engines higher than everybody else, and more. Okay, so that's the part that a lot of people don't understand is that SEO does carry weight, but a lot of it is stuff that you do internally. It's not just new strategies on creating authority. So what I want to do is I want to share with you the 10 SEO do's and don'ts, okay? And so I got this from a friend of mine who runs a website company, and I was kind of like searching through his blogs, and this was a really good one. And so I'm going to use his topics, but I'm going to break down what, my analysis is about them. So I want to help you guys out, but I want you guys to understand too that when it comes to SEO, you guys need to make sure, you put in the work into this, okay? You can't expect it to happen overnight. And that is the biggest challenge that I have with working with clients is that they expect something to change overnight. Like they expect, hey, I've been spending this much and I don't have any new business. Marketing is not a do now, get business tomorrow. It doesn't work that way, okay? Marketing is a strategy that is ongoing and that strategy is going to shift and change based on your market, okay? Based on your offers, based on your goals. It's all going to change. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, my goal is to make money. My goal is to get more students. No kidding. Everyone's goal is typically about that in the martial arts industry. But you have to understand that there has to be a strategy behind what you're doing. So you've got to be in this for the long haul, for the long game. Everyone sees short-sighted, this like right here. They're not in it for the long game. And if you're not in it for the long game, I'm sorry to tell you this, you're going to fail. You're going to say, well, this doesn't work. Well, SEO doesn't work, and Facebook ads doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work. It does work if you weren't short-sighted. Does that sort of make sense? So you can't be short-sighted when it comes to developing good quality, marketing. And so make sure you guys are looking at the future. You're not looking at tomorrow. You're looking at, 6 months from now. You're looking at 12 months from now. You're looking at 2 years from now. Do you see what's happening? And before I get into this, I'll tell a quick story. Is that I went to a mastermind almost a month ago, actually, in New Mexico with my business coach. And one of the homeworks he gave us was to give him our end goal, like what we want to be doing, where we want to be when we are retired. Okay, I can guarantee you, many of you guys that are listening to this show don't even know what you want to do a year from now. Don't even know what you want to do 5 years from now. And I was in that boat as well, too, until my coach started kind of, I'm not going to say pressuring me, but started challenging me to start seeing beyond tomorrow, to start seeing the end goal. So I wrote down, and it wasn't my goals, it was my wife's goals as well, too, what we wanted, okay? And some things we didn't align in. Some things she wanted this, other things I wanted this, and we had to figure a way to mesh it and make an end goal for all of us. And so, quick story here is that we moved to a new area in Colorado that's closer to her parents, not close to a lot of her friends, which is tough for her. She's more of the social type of person. I'm not. I'm more of like a introvert type of person. She's more of an extrovert type of person. With that said, it's been challenging for our family. It's been challenging for our kids. It's been challenging for my wife. It's been challenging for me because I have to, help in areas that I didn't have to as much. And so my point being is that we both realize that this is not the end. This is just a chapter in our life. And so marketing is the same thing. Marketing is simply a chapter to get to what you're looking for. Okay? If you want to teach 100 kids or 200 kids, that is amazing. We have to go through all these chapters to get to that number. And that's the part that a lot of people are missing. They're not understanding that there is a process to marketing. And so you have to appreciate the journey. Okay? You have to appreciate the journey. Because if you're not appreciating the journey, then you're going to think that all of this sucks. Okay? So true entrepreneur, true enterprise appreciates the journey and is willing to fight through it and sees that there is light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. And that makes a big difference. All right, so now to our topic, 10 SEO do's and don'ts to help improve your business, to help improve your website. Number one, this is a do, is do blog regularly. Blogging is essentially writing content on your website. Blog basically is short for weblog, okay? And then as it got popular, it got, dubbed down to blog. All right, so blogging regularly on your website. And regularly means maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once every 2 weeks, maybe it's once a month, but you do it regularly, okay? Not like sporadically, like when I have time, when I can do this. No, you got to do it regularly, okay? And it has to be valuable content because Google only puts out valuable content. If you're putting out crap, then guess what? No one's going to value that. I mean, think about it. You as a consumer will not appreciate crap, okay? You don't appreciate it. You don't want to go buy it. And even if it was free, you don't want to go get the paid version of it because it was crap, okay? Don't do that. Understand that consumers today are smarter than what they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, because they research. So when you blog, put valuable content on there. And usually what I always get back is or the lashback is like, well, I don't know what to blog about. Guys, you have this thing called the internet. It is amazing. And if you don't know and you don't have any ideas, then do searches and look at other people's blogs. And you're like, well, that's copying. I didn't say copy it. I said look at. Get inspiration from. Does that make sense? Understand that you are not original. what you put out isn't like, life changing. Like, oh my gosh, this is enlightenment. It's all been recycled. It's a matter of how you put your spin to it. Okay. Example, 10 do's and don'ts for SEO to improve your website. I didn't make this up. And I'm pretty sure the person that I borrowed this from didn't make it up either. They got it from other inspirations. And so you need to find inspirations. Write them out, the topics that you're going to write about, and then once a week or once every other week or whatever it is, what works for your schedule, and be consistent, you write about it, okay? Even if you're like, well, I'm not a good writer, I don't write really well. Who cares? Come out from an authentic point of view. Authenticity sells more today than it ever has before, okay? Scripted does not sell. Do you think I have this thing scripted right now? I'll tell you what I have scripted. My 10 points. That's it, okay? So authenticity is going to sell. So, maybe it's the 3 ways to find the best kids martial arts program. And then whatever your program is really good at. We develop character. We relate with students, and we are a community or something like that. A great example is Liz out of South Elgin, Illinois. She her martial arts school has won the Kane County #1 martial arts school like 3 years running, which is insane. And basically, those would be great topics to write about, because that's something that is not rubbing in faces. That is something to be proud of, and you should brag about that. So that's my point is that like you don't win that just because. You win that because you did something special. And so what is it? And so that way, share it with people, okay? So you got to blog regularly is number 1. Number 2 is do use keywords in important places. So what I mean by this is don't stuff don't stuff words in what I have it on my screen. I have to look over to the side. So what I'm saying is use keywords. So example is that if the keyword that you're going after is kids martial arts, let's just use that as an example. They don't say like, at the dojo of karate, we have kids martial arts. Our kids martial arts will actually teach your kids on how to do martial arts really well. Our kids martial arts, do you see what's going on? Is that's called keyword stuffing. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to keyword stuff your content. But what you want to do is you want to use that. So example is going to be is like if adult self-defense is a keyword that you're looking for, use it correctly in certain areas of your content, okay, of what you're writing. If it's a 200-word blog, and by the way, I should have said this, some people think that their blogs have to be novels. No one ever said that, guys. Like, when was the last time you enjoyed reading a blog that was a novel? Like, never. 200 words, maybe 300, and leave it at that, okay? So if you're going to be using 200 or 300 words as like the base point of your blogs, then you probably use, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 times at the most that keyword that you're going after, okay? And so you use that keyword in your blog like strategically, not stuffing it, strategically, so it actually makes sense. So like you write it out like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is like as though I was speaking to somebody. It needs to sound real, okay? Again, authenticity sells. All right, number 3 is do include internal links. So this is what we call is like link backs or hyperlinks, okay? So if you're not really familiar with this, is that, whenever you're searching stuff and you're reading a blog, there'll be links within that blog that you can click on that goes to a certain blog or a certain page or certain something. That's what you need to do. And the reason it does that is because Google sees that, or all search engines, and they say, oh, this refers to this, and this is what's going on. So example is like if you're talking about kids martial arts, and the 3 reasons or 3 ways why your kids martial arts is so much better, then, and you need to have a link back where it says kids martial arts that goes to your kids martial arts program, because Google is already what we call is already searched or has already crawled your website. And what they did is that they said, hey, this page, this kids martial arts page is about kids martial arts, and it talks about these topics. And so it essentially indexes it. And so what you're doing is that in your blog, you are referring back to a certain page. And so Google knows to say, hey, these things correlate with each other. They are about the same thing. So like if you're pushing kids martial arts, but you're pointing the page to like adult something, doesn't make any sense. Does that sort of make sense? So you want to make sure you use link backs to what your content already is. Or, better yet, if you have a blog that's done very, very well, okay, then what you need to do is you need to have links that go back to some of those blogs, okay? And so that's the whole purpose and the beauty about blogging, is that it creates authority. And that's how Google knows that your website is about X, which is why you need to be you need to be a badass at what you do. If you are a kids martial arts program, you need to be awesome at that in your community. If you are an adult martial arts program, you need to be the best at that in your community, and you need to stand out, okay? All right. Let's see. Number 4, do build high quality incoming links. And so what this means is that link building is what it's basically what it is. And so link building is where you go to. A great example is that you go to like Chamber of Commerce, for instance, all right? Say you're a part of a Chamber of Commerce. I just came from a meeting from that today. And you get a link from the Chamber of Commerce that points to your website. That's called link building. And so that Chamber of Commerce carries authority, okay? Why? Because it has lots of businesses of different industries and niches. Does that make sense? And so that carries authority, so that's really good for your business. If you have a directory, okay, not you, but like if you find some directories, local or even large like international or national directories in the U.S., then those links going back to your website creates authority. That is building links or link building. Okay. Other ways, which I personally find this better, okay, is you find someone that is pretty top notch that's not necessarily in your area. So examples, if you do adults, let's do this example. Aaron out of Atlanta, they do Wing Chun, and they're part of an organization, and I forget who his Sifu is, but they're part of his organization. I don't know if he has a blog or a website or anything like that, but what would be helpful is somehow he links his main site, and he says, hey, these are some of our top schools around the United States, and they have a link to like Atlanta Wing Chun or something like that. Or if you can be a guest blog writer on these top authority sites, and what you do is you write about a topic. All right. You don't push your brand. You write about a topic. And at the end, you say, I'm Javier Lozano with XYZ Martial Arts, and you point a link back to your site. That is called link building. That carries authority. Okay. Because this other site that's already really big and monstrous, if you will, is going to have a lot more authority on a major topic that Google kind of already sees. And so if they see that there's a link going to your site, they're like, oh, wow, this relates to this. Do you see what's going on? That's how they really get this whole, link building to work. And that's part of what you should do. So a great example that would be really, really helpful, and we could probably do this within our community of martial arts studios, is that if we all got to a point where we were blogging, we would refer links going to each other's sites, okay? And say, one of the best Wing Chun studios in the southeast region is Atlanta Wing Chun, or something like that. Or one of the best JKD studios in the northeast region is Maryland JKD. And so, but that would probably come from like a studio out in California or something like that. But it has to be content related. Does that sort of make sense? And so whenever you give like shout outs, if you will, sorry, just spit. If you give shout outs, if you will, on link building, then that helps create authority. All right. So that is, another way of doing that. All right. Next one is do perfect site navigation and load time. So this drives me up the wall. Okay. I'm actually going to be doing a Boulder Media Radio live on this probably later today about cheap is more expensive than what it really is. Okay. Your website needs to be very easy to navigate. And like I said, the search engines can navigate your site, and they know top navigation setups. Okay, guess what? If yours suck for navigation, it's very confusing. Not only if the bots can't navigate your site correctly, I guarantee the consumer can't either. Okay, don't try to be like, well, we're smarter than the bots. Okay, sure. Your site needs to be very, very easily navigatable. And when I say easily navigatable, like you either have like a search bar at the top, okay, which tends to be the standard now, or on the right side. It depends on your industry and your niches, okay. Next thing is that it needs to also be navigatable on your phone. So if it's not essentially mobile ready, your website, that Google will, and this is a fact, Google will mark you and penalize your website. So therefore, it's not going to show up high in the search engines. Do you want to know why? Here's the thing. When do you typically sit in front of a computer and do searches? Not a lot, not as much as you used to. Now that our phones are so capable and our tablets are so capable of doing that, and if not more, you need to have a website that is geared towards mobile-friendly search, okay? So that's the thing, guys. So you got to understand that, is that if you're going to have a solid website, it has to be mobile-friendly, okay? So make sure it loads quickly. So I posted a link, and I'll probably post one below here later in the comments. I think it's like gtmetrics.com, I believe, where it basically does an analysis on your load speed and some other stuff as well too. And I did this for, I think, Jonathan. And it's if your site takes a long time to load, guess what you're losing? You're losing on prospects. I mean, think about it. If you're going to a website and it takes 10 seconds, 15 seconds to load, aren't you pissed off? Even though 20 years ago, that'd be like, oh yes, it's supposed to load. It's going to take that long. Now, 3 seconds. 3 seconds is kind of the standard, if not less. And if your site takes forever to load, it's because your images are too big, okay? The setup of your site isn't right. You don't have cache set up, not like money, CH or CACHE. Your cache is not set up correctly. All sorts of things, okay? I'm not a web guru, so don't ask me like, hey, how do I do this? And how do I do that? I don't know. I just Google stuff, okay? All right. Now we're going to go into our don'ts. This is going to be pretty important. All right, so this is number 6. So don't buy links from services for inbound links. So this is what I mean is that there are companies out there where you can buy and you can pay them to send inbound links to your website. That is known as today's black hat SEO. That is it's unethical, if you will, and you can't do that. It has to be organic. Links have to come to your site organically, okay? Best way I can explain this is like people used to pay for likes on your business page, okay? So get 1,000 likes and you pay $100 or something like that. 2,000 likes and it's $150, right? And so the amount of likes on your business page created authority at the time. Well, Facebook realized that people were paying for that. So guess what Facebook did? They took the authority figure of Facebook likes away and made you have to be more organic, more community-based, hence why they're pushing groups. Get it? So don't pay for links to go to your website. All right, there are services out there that do it. It will put your website in what we call a sandbox, and it will make your site almost impossible to search for, if not difficult. Okay. Number 7, don't buy traffic. If it's not organic, that's not good. So this kind of builds off of what I just said about links. Don't pay for traffic. Okay. You can pay someone to do SEO for your site. That's different, given that they're using white hat practices, good ethical practices for search engine optimization for SEO. Okay. But don't buy traffic. Your traffic to your website needs to be organic. Now you can use pay-per-click because that you're not buying traffic, you're buying ad space to direct traffic based on the search to your website. Same thing with Google, with Facebook ads. Same thing with, like, say, LinkedIn ads, or Instagram ads, or YouTube ads. You're paying for ad space to gear your website towards your web to use keywords to go towards your website, okay? But you don't want to pay for traffic, okay? That's not good. No bueno, all right? And a lot of you guys, I would almost guarantee that you don't even know where to go and look for this kind of stuff. So don't even worry about it, I guess. All right, number 8, don't keyword stuff. This is kind of building off of what I said for number 2. Don't keyword stuff. So again, you don't want to have a blog or even your website, okay? Let's say your website focuses on adult martial arts. Don't use, like, say, I'm going to use JB's site. Don't use at Maryland JKD, we teach JKD. Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee's #1 art. And JK, do you see what's going on? Like, I'm stuffing that keyword. Don't do that. Google knows that sort of stuff. Like, would you speak to someone like that? Be like, hello, my name is, I do Maryland JKD. JKD is great. Jeet Kune Do is what Bruce Lee did. Like, would you talk to someone like that? No, you would never talk to someone like that. So don't type like that, okay? So your website should be laid out, whether it's like your homepage or your pages based on your programs. Don't stuff the keywords. They should be written out as though you were speaking to someone normally, okay? And that's the thing, is that it has to be organic, has to be natural. Google has been penalizing the living bejesus out of people for stuffing stuff like this, okay? So be authentic, but be organic, all right? Be normal. Let's see. Don't not use tags. And so a better way of putting it is not using tags. And so if you don't know what tags are, there are different types of tags in a website. And this also goes for blogging. This is very, very important, guys. They're called what's called H1 tags, H2 tags, image tags, and alt tags, okay? So let me explain what H1, H2, and these aren't diseases, okay? So don't worry. And let me explain all these other things. So, you know how if you have a newspaper? I got one right here. Newspaper. This is considered an H1 tag, okay? This probably would be considered an H1 tag, all right? Maybe this, though, H2 tag, okay? Let me... H1 tag, H2 tag, all right? So, H1 tag kind of tells you more about the exact topic or what that page is going to be about, okay? So, great example is an H1 tag on your page for adult martial arts. Let's say should be, Atlanta adult self-defense or Atlanta adult martial arts, something like that, right? That would be an H1 tag. An H2 tag can be something of a sub of that. So, like, adult Wing Chun. Does that sort of make sense? So it has to be something that is right below what that topic is about. So H1 tags is like the main topic of whatever that page is or that blog post is. H2 tags will be subtopics, all right? And that's important because, again, and so when you write blogs, if you have like a WordPress blog, it will allow you to categorize H1 and H2 tags, okay? It lets you do all that stuff. So if you have a WordPress-based website, which is good, then that means that you can categorize those things, okay? Image tags. So this is huge. Image and alt tags are huge, okay? So this is what I mean is you go to a website and the image, if you go to your website, the image that are being used, first that image needs to be saved that as a file, okay, with the word of what your page is going to be on or what that is. Does this make sense? So the image, so let's say that the image is kids martial arts. Great. So what you need to do is you need to have, I kid you not, if it's like South Elgin kids martial arts is the .jpeg. Does that make sense? Or, I don't know, or like Maryland JKD adult self-defense .jpeg. Does this make sense? So the file needs to be changed to that. And then when you upload that image to the website, the alt tag needs to be saved to something similar to that. And if you're like, why does that all matter? Because the alt tag is, you know how whenever you do searches and then you want to search on images, that's what shows up. If it just says like, image 1080 by 620, Google doesn't know where to put that. And you can't say, well, why can't Google just read a picture? The technology isn't there yet, guys. Like, it's getting developed, but it's not quite there yet. Hence the reason why alt tags need to actually specify what that product or service is. And a lot of people don't know this. So you need to use tags, H1, H2 tags, image tags, alt tags. Use those on your website. That's going to help with your SEO, because then Google knows exactly what kind of topic or what to send to your website. Okay. Number 10, last one, is don't content spin. This was huge like 10 years ago, content spinning. All right. And I was guilty of using it to a degree, and then I stopped using it. Content spinning is this. Is like, think Yoda. You know how Yoda speaks? Okay. He speaks kind of backwards, and then like we speak forwards, right? Think of it like that. It's the same thing being said. It's just spun. Can't do that. So in a bigger picture is, let's say you have a blog, okay, that did really well, and you want to kind of change it up. You want to change up the content. Cool. So then what happens is that you take it to a content spinner, and it takes things and it changes, where the words are and the phrases are, and it changes a few things here and there, and it tries to like play the bots, if you will. So the search engines, when they start crawling your site, they're like, oh, this is new content. Don't do that. Okay? Has to be original, authentic content. Now, if you're like, well, I don't have original, authentic content, that is fine. But what you can do is this. Here's a great idea. Is that you have a blog or whatever, and you're writing about something, but you don't have anything new to share about. And so, hey, we want to re-emphasize the importance of knowing these 3 things. And you talk about it really quickly, and you point a link back towards that blog post. That is okay. Do you know why? Because you're not spinning the content, and you're pointing to something that has authority, that did really, really well. Okay? So don't content spin stuff. And some of these things, I'm going to say that I'm not going to be rude by saying this, is that I think a lot of you guys aren't really familiar with or know how to do yet, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad about that. But what I want to get to is that these 10 SEO do's and don'ts is what's going to help really help your website. Okay, it's going to help improve your website rankings. There are a lot of other things that can be done. And I will be honest, I think the best way of handling this is hiring somebody, okay? Whether you hire a digital marketer. I mean, my agency, I have an agency that we help companies with marketing. And if someone does want SEO, I can do basic stuff, but I'll probably hire out portions of it. Why? Because it's not my thing. Okay, I know what you need to do. I just don't want to do a lot of the other work, and so I'd rather hire some of that stuff out. In your case, same thing. Like, you don't want to hire someone to write your blogs, typically. Why? Because it's not coming from you. Okay, I mean, like, some of you guys teach your own classes, right? It's gonna be really hard to like hire out someone else to teach your own classes. Do you see what I'm saying? So, to a degree, you don't want to hire out everything. There's things that you need to take advantage of, but there are things that you should probably pay for. So like if you're paying someone to do search engine optimization for your website to keep your site optimized on like the 3-pack or like Google Ads or whatever the case is, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are also some things that you as a business owner should be doing as well too. Okay, does this sort of make sense? So I hope this really helps. These 10 SEO do's and don'ts. This should help you understand the importance of SEO and why you should still be focusing on doing it. So, with that said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a powerful day.